In this video, I will discuss Communication Technology, Lesson 4, the Democratization of Information. The concept of democratization of information can be summarized as follows. New technologies such as YouTube, Wikipedia, blogs, and social networks have given regular people unprecedented control over the flow of information. Older forms of communication, such as television and the radio, are controlled by a small group of powerful people. Today, any person with internet access can post a video on YouTube, tweet news, blog about world events, or edit Wikipedia entries. So, essentially, in the past, communication has been controlled by very few people. So if you owned a TV station or a radio station or a newspaper, you could get an idea out to the masses. And if you didn't, you were sort of out of luck. So today, we have all types of ways to get ideas out there. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, blogs. Anybody with internet access can do this. So, some onlookers go as far to suggest that the democratization of information will lead to the fall of unfair governments across the globe. And the argument usually goes something like this. Repressive governments stay in power by suppressing information and keeping their citizens ignorant. So an example of this would be state-controlled media, the lack of a free press, or the lack of an independent press, independent newspaper in a society. The internet, however, makes suppressing information difficult. The democratization of information has given the masses access to information. So, therefore, it follows that dictators will be unable to suppress information and their power will disappear. So in this lesson, we're going to look at this idea of the democratization of information, and we're going to look at three different texts that present really two conflicting views. Okay, so one view that, yes, the democratization of information can sort of make the world a better place, and one that not really. So there's going to be three texts that you look at, and for each text, you are going to create a separate journal entry. So these are journal entries 7, 8, and 9 for the communication technology unit. So in the first, for the first journal entry or the first text, we look at a newspaper article. And for the second text and the third text, they are both TED.com videos. Okay, so 3 texts and 3 journal entries, one journal entry for each text. And you want to do these journal entries because they're going to connect directly to the assignment at the end of the lesson. So you'll have lots to write about if you write the journal entries, and I'll give you some feedback to your journal entries. If you have, and you'll be better prepared for the assignment. So if you do the journal entries, so definitely do the journal entries before moving on to the assignment, because the assignment might be quite hard if you haven't had time to really think about these ideas and get some feedback on these ideas. So it's a written assignment, and the title of the assignment is, Does the Internet Make the World a Better Place? So the specific question is, to what extent can the internet and or social media make the world a better place? Support your response with reference to at least one of the texts studied in this lesson and to your own experiences and observations. And a note here at the bottom, the question asks if the internet and or social media can make the world a better place, and the texts in this lesson really focus on global issues, so things happening around the world, but you could also think about local issues in your response. So can social media, can the internet make the city that you live in better, or make the community that you live in better? So it doesn't necessarily have to be tied to something global. You could think locally as well. So the question's asking you, to come up with an argument for whether the internet and social media is making the world a better place, you have to include reference to at least one of the texts in the lesson, so the newspaper article or the TED.com videos, but you're not limited to including reference to one of them. You can write about two of them, or you can write about all three of them. You also have to reference your own experience or your own observations. So that's the piece that you have to bring in from outside. Okay, so there's two parts of it. You have to reference something from the lesson and your own observation or your own experience with the internet or social media. The rubric for the assignment is on the last page here. And you see, this is a 10-mark assignment. So for a 10-mark assignment, you should be thinking 300 to 500 words. So there are three texts in the lesson. So a lot of ideas that you could write about or that you could respond to. So that should not be a problem. So that's the end of Lesson 4, the democratization of information. Thanks for listening.